You know, somebody asked me to describe it earlier, and I don't. My response was, I don't think God has made the word up yet. I don't think that word's been invented. When you look down over the field right now, there's an area of red in the grass. It's probably a 20 by 30 area, and it's not red paint. That's blood from several days ago, and it's just a red tint over the whole thing, and that's people's blood. So, yeah, I'm not sure the word's been invented yet.
Tell us where you were at the concert and what you can remember.
Shortly before Jason Aldean went on. Jason Aldean went on at about 9:40 p.m., the headliner. And it's really important to note that, because if you were going to do something really bad, you wanted a lot of people there, you were going to do it when Jason Aldean was playing, because 20 to 30,000 people are going to be there. It's fenced in. It's got 8-10-foot fences around it designed to keep people out. This guy used it designed to keep people in. So when Jason went on about 9:40, about 8 minutes into his set, he probably was on his second or third song, I was standing in the VIP section, and it's the closest section to the Mandalay Bay. The corner, we were right in the corner, and across the street is the Mandalay Bay. And so I heard pop firecrackers, and it sounded like, well, it's street level. And I thought, oh, what a jerk. Who's doing that right now? Trying to scare people. And then all of a sudden, then it changed. Then I heard a rapid fire, just a succession of machine gun. And that's when we screamed, "Gun, get down." And so then all of a sudden it dawned on me, because I was watching the ground. It's like the old Western movie where somebody takes a gun and says, "Dance," and they shoot the ground. That's exactly what it was doing around us. It was just hitting the ground and dirt popping up. So we hit the ground. We thought normally that's what you're supposed to do in a shooting. Well, what we didn't realize at that point was the shooter is up 32 stories. Who thinks about that? Nobody. Nobody ever even fathomed that as a scenario. So while I'm laying down, all of a sudden I heard the bullet go by me, because I'm laying down, and I heard that whistle, thump, and it hits in the ground, and that's when it broke up, and it just kind of sliced my hand a little bit. Minor injury, but what that told me, get out of there. Something's going on. So that was my cue to scream, "Gun, run." And so we all did in that section. We ran, and we got in between tour buses. And while I was there, what I did at that point was, it was so bad, and it was so much mayhem, and the gunfire was so rapid, I turned on my cell phone and started video, just hanging on to my hand. Not to do anything with the video, but my thoughts were I wasn't going to make it. I thought a lot of us are going to die that night. So I thought, at least I want somebody to see that, hey, this guy gave it a heck of a shot before he went down. So that's why I had that as I was running. And you can just hear the barrage of gunfire. We at one point, and then while we're pinned down, I called my captain in Seguin. And I don't know what time of the morning it was. There's probably 2 or 3. And I told him, I said, "Pacheco, wake up." He did. I said, "Put your feet on the floor, sit up and listen to me." I said, "We're under fire." And he said, "What?" And I said, just shut up and listen to me. We're under fire. Turn on CNN, Fox News, anything. Get up on the internet. Look for anything. I got to find out where this guy is. I said, because he's picking everybody off like fish in a barrel. And he said, "Is it that bad?" And I said, "This will go down as the worst mass shooting in the history of the United States." And sadly, I think that's accurate. We recognized that right away, that it was going to be that bad. So he was looking and he was my eyes and ears 1,500 miles away. And he was able to provide some stuff, but nobody ever identified that the guy was up on the 32nd floor. So we decided it was time to run. So we told everybody in this area, because the ricochets were coming up under the tour buses. So my friend JR from SiriusXM and we took off. We just kept herding people, run, run, run. What we didn't know was the guy had a straight line of fire at us. Where we were running behind backstage, it's a nice long asphalt road. And while we're running, I could feel stuff hitting the back of my leg. And then what it turned out to be was he was shooting, and that was the asphalt that was shooting up. So he was tracking us, trying to hit us as we were running. This guy wanted to kill people. And he wasn't just shooting out there, he was zooming in on the people. So I think the barrage lasted about 9 or 10 minutes. And when you're firing bursts of 50 rounds every 10 seconds, I estimate there was probably 500 rounds shot. At least 500 rounds. And like I say, you really believe that you're going to die. Doesn't mean you're not going to try, but I really believe that that was it for quite a few of us. So we made it around the corner. JR went to go take some people out to get them farther away, and I came across a guy that was shot through the leg. And I used to be an EMT, so I looked at that, and he was bleeding profusely. They hit an artery. This guy was dying. So I grabbed him, and I got another guy. We dragged this guy across the street, and it's still, you can hear him hitting out in the street where we're at. I mean, 15 feet away from us, I can still see ricochets coming. This guy is just, it's like a war movie that hasn't even been aired yet because there's so much firepower in this. So we dragged the guy across the street, and the irony is that in Seguin, we just equipped our officers with tourniquets for their belts. We just got them. Our 100 Club paid for it. So we trained everybody, and I went through the training. So recently I had tourniquet training. So I whipped this guy's belt off, tied it up, and I had to hold it. And so while I'm holding it, then everybody looks at it and says, wow, that guy must know what he's doing, so let's bring people to him. Yeah. So now I've got a lady shot in the back, shot in the stomach, shot in the chest, shot in the back. And so I got these 3 victims here. And so one of the guys standing there told him, tell that car to stop. The guy did. And the guy was that close from getting away. Somebody was driving, and they were almost away from there. But it just goes to show you all the heroes that were there. This guy stops. This guy opens up his door. He helps me load all these people in. I put the lady with the back injury up in the front passenger, the chest injury behind the driver. I get in, and they seat the victim, the guy shot in the leg, so I can hold the tourniquet and keep tightening it right here. And then the lady with the chest injury, I've got to try to hold her bleeding on this. So we're driving down so this poor guy, most law-abiding citizen in the world, we come up to the first intersection. What does he do? He starts to slow down because the light's red. And I'm screaming at him. You won't get a ticket. You won't get a ticket. Go, bust it. And so when we got out on the strip, the traffic's backed up. So I told him, get in the other lane. And he go, what other lane? I said, the opposing lane. Cut over there. And then we had to go around a police officer, and the police officer just went bananas. And because he was going to stop and ration this out with the officer. I said, just go. He'll get over it. He'll get over it. These people were dying. I mean, they were dying. So we ended up driving about 7 or 8 miles across town. It wasn't close. And when we got there, we got all these people out. We got them into the ER. Before I left, they had told me they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. Even the guy with the carotid artery. And the whole back of the seat was literally a pool of blood. Everything was just blood. It was something I've never seen before. So it was, and then after that, there was a car that came up, and then the guy brought a lady, took her out, and she had a headshot, and she died. There was no way she was going to survive that. It was just, the thing to me that I pull from this is that there were so many heroes. Average people put in an extraordinary situation, and man, did they respond. You know, this concert, if you were at this concert and you had initiative and human compassion, it was time to step up. And they did. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I still get choked up over it because seeing people, ordinary people, help people that they didn't even know. And it's just not like I'm helping them across the street. These people are bleeding so bad that the grass in the 20 by 30 area looks like spray painted red. And so there are so many heroes out there. It's just amazing. Just amazing.
You spoke about on one